Okay, so for this lesson, we're looking at the future value of an annuity. Now, an annuity is where you don't just make one payment at the beginning and it just sits there in an account like compound interest. Every single year or month or fortnight, you deposit money into that account that's earning interest. We deposit the same amount each time. An annuity that's very common is our superannuation. So with superannuation, an amount is deposited into that account every pay. So it might be every month, fortnight, every week, whatever, however often you're paid. So an annuity, you need to calculate the compound interest each time we put in our contributions. So in this example here, we've got Fred. Now Fred's going to put $500 into his account at the end of every year for 4 years. The account's going to earn 6% per annum. And we're going to work out what he has to have at the end of 4 years. Now, we can't just use our compound interest formula because the amount in the account's changing each time he makes a deposit. So we're going to set up a table. Now, with our table, we're going to start with the amount of money that he has at the beginning. So in the first year, he has no money in the account, which means he earns no interest. But at the end of the year, he's going to put $500 in. That is then going to not earn any interest, it's just gone in the end. So the balance at the end of the year is just $500. Nothing much happens in that first year. Now in the second year, at the beginning of the year, he still has this $500 sitting here. Now this time he's going to earn interest over that year. So the interest is calculated using our simple interest formula. So the simple interest formula is I equals PRN. So if we just grab a calculator and type that in, just grabbing my calculator. So $500. So for this interest, I'm using I equals PRN. So I'm doing $500 times the interest rate, which is 6% per annum. I put 0.06. I know some of you like 6 on 100, same thing. And it's just going to sit there for 1 year. So I'm doing 500 times 0.06, which gives me $30 interest that year. Now, at the end of that year, he also puts another $500 in. So by the end of the second year, he's got his original 500 plus the 30 interest plus another 500. So he's got $1,030 sitting there. Okay, year number 3. So in year number 3, he's starting off with $1,030. So if I work out the interest again using I equals PRN, I'm now going to use 1,030 times 0.06 for 1 year. Grab your calculator. Times 0.06. So this year he's going to earn $61.80 interest. Okay, at the end of the year he makes another contribution of $500. So now when I add all these together, so he's got 1,030 plus he's got his $61.80 interest plus he's put another $500 in. So he now has $1,591.80. All right, year number 4, we're getting there. So in the 4th year, he starts off with $1,591.80. He calculates interest. So again, interest is 1,591.80 times 6% for 1 year. So if I put that on the calculator, I get that it's $95, around that to the nearest cent, so it'll be 51 to the nearest cent. So 95.51. He's going to put another $500 in, and if I add them all together, plus 1,591.8, I get that at the end of 4 years he has $2,187.31. So I can see a lot of information in this table. I can see his balance at the end. So he's put in 2,187. So his total of value is 2,187.31. I can see all his contributions. So he's made 4 contributions of $500 each. So total he's put in 2,000. So because he's put a total of 2,000, I can work out the total interest here is 187.31, or I could have found that by adding up the interest column as well. Now, as you can imagine, if I'm going to be paying superannuation and I'm putting it in every week for 20, 30 years, this table is going to get very tedious. Okay, so we need a better way of doing it. Luckily, there is a better way of doing it. There are tables that can help us. So we're going to look at how that works. Now, in your textbook, on page 29, there's a table that looks like this. Can you see that? Okay, so this table here is a future value table. So what it tells me is what happens to $1 if I invested $1 in every period at a certain interest rate. So for example, for the question we just did for Fred, if he'd put in $1, we were doing it for 4 years, so that's 4 periods at 6%, then $1 would have grown to 4.3746.